Hey guys, this is the Sand Eel Illusion. I had this fly in Cape Cod a few days ago and hooked a bunch of awesome stripers, including a couple doubles. Really, two striped bass at once is kind of crazy. But that's not all. It also nabbed a Ling Cod, Shad, Mackerel. Plus, when you look at it in the water, it just matches the sand eel both in looks and movement. It's just a kick-ass fly. So let's take a look at the materials. The hook itself is a Gamakatsu. This is an SC15 size number 1. I've got some black bead chain eyes on the front and then a lateral scale in pearl to make the belly and the body. Over the back, I've got a Zonker strip, and to keep that Zonker from getting looped on, I've got a little bit of 25-pound mono off the back. Very simple, very easy, incredibly productive. So, without further ado, let's get tying. So let's start with a little material prep. I'm going to grab some olive zonker. I figure most of you guys have that at home. If you don't, just go out and buy some micro pine squirrel. It'll save you a little bit of arts and craft. But either way, grab your zonker strip and just put it right into the vise. And notice the material itself is laying back this direction. It just makes the cutting process easier. And grab your trusty razor blade. And pick a center point. And now take your time. And cut right down through the center. Got the zonker split into 2 equidistant parts. Time to get tying. All right, so let's get tying the Sand Eelusion. And I'm going to start with an SC15. It's a Gamakatsu. I use either a number 1 or number 2. And in this case, I'm using a number 1. So I'm going to leave about 1 eye's length back here. And we're going to start by creating a foundation for the black bead chain eye that we're going to put in there. And in order to do that, I'm just going to build up a little hourglass. And I'm going to start by just creating 1 bump, which you can see there. I'm going to go back a very small amount. Basically, what Bob Clouser wants you to do is create that hourglass. So why mess with success there? So there's the hourglass. And now I'm just going to take my thread, my Vivus 100, and let it dangle there right in the middle. And you don't want to crowd the eye too much, otherwise you're going to have material hanging over. So there I've got my bump. Now I'm going to take my black bead chain eyes. These are size medium. And I'm just going to grab 2, flip it over. And now I'm going to do 7 wraps one direction and 7 wraps another. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you can see how it's seated right in that little hourglass. Now I'm going to go the opposite direction, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so that's nice and tight and secured, but what I found is that by doing 4 one way, so that's 2, 3, 4, coming up once, and now doing the opposite. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and now using this Vivus 100 just to get underneath, and I'm going to do 3 wraps, pull nice and tight. That cinches the heck out of those eyes, and they're not going anywhere. Okay, so now I'm going to wrap down, because the next step is to put the mono loop on there. So for mono, you can use any sort of clear mono, any mono, I don't care. This is 25 pound. All we're gonna do is put a little loop off the back to keep that zonker strip from fouling. And so all I'm doing, I just paired the two side by side. I want to make sure that they're aligned, otherwise my loop is going to get kind of wonky. And I'm going to put it on the side of the hook and do 3 loose wraps. There's 1, 2, 3. And the reason why I do 3 loose wraps is then I'm able to make sure that my mono is still side by side, and then I'm able to gauge the distance off the back. And I just want the size of this loop off the back to be 1/4 of an inch. That's a little big, so I'm just going to pull it in a little bit, still while it's nice and loose. Got about 1/4 inch, that looks just fine. So I'm going to wrap forward, taking my time. And when I get up to the eyes, I'm going to use this mono just to reinforce and secure everything in place. So go over the eyes and pull them back underneath, and now I can pull up and cinch. Now just for security, grab a little super glue on there to reinforce everything. Hold everything in a position, and I'm just walking that thread up right behind those eyes. Those eyes are not going anywhere. And now I'm just going to clip and come back over everything. Okay, I'm going to come back up and tie this off. And I'm going to transition to my clear mono because we're going to put a body on there now. So this is just clear mono. This is medium strength. Wrap it in, and I'm going to go all the way back to my loop because that's where I'm going to start my body. Now for the body material, this is lateral scale in pearl. Take off one piece, tie it in, and now I'm going to hit everything with crazy glue. And the reason why I do this is because your most vulnerable part of this fly is the belly itself. And by using super glue as we build the body, it just helps keep it solid so that it doesn't break down. And I'm going to go back over top again. Looks good. Coming back. I'm going to come right to the front. I'm going to do an X with the material. What that's doing is it's creating a nice little belly underneath that transitions all the way. And I'll just tie it off up at the head here. All right, that looks great. Next, I'm going to grab my Zonker strip. And again, another cool part of this thread is that I'm able to walk right back over the body itself, go down to where that loop is, and I'm going to pull the material forward so I have excess. I want the full amount of the Zonker strip to be running back over the fly itself. So I'm not really going to worry about the front because I'll be able to trim that off. But on the back here, what I want to do, and notice the Zonker strip itself is flowing to the back end of the fly. I'm going to wet my fingers, pull the Zonker material forward, and preen the material on the back too. And what you create is just basically a naked spot here on the fly. And now I'm going to do 3 wraps. 1, 2, 3. And now I just want to check and make sure that everything is in position. That looks good. It's on the top of the hook, which is exactly where I want it. Preen that material forward again, and I'm going to grab my super glue and I'm going to wrap or coat about 1 inch worth of the mono. And you notice I'm dabbing the brush. I'm just trying to get the point where I can visibly see the super glue on there. And then I'm going to wrap right in. I'm being careful, trying not to get any of those Zonker fibers. Okay, I did 4 wraps. I'm good there. Now I'm going to bring my thread forward. I'm going to go all the way to the eye. And pull that material back. And now I'm going to pinch it between my fingers, come down once, twice, 3 times. I'm not tight because I'm going to pull my material back and cinch at the same time, and then come forward 2 to 3 wraps. Now, cutting the Zonker, pull back and trim. And you see you get a nice tight cut. And everything looks great. And now, back to my super glue. Go right over that thread. Again, dabbing. And I'm just going to wrap all of that right over top. All right, that looks fantastic. Just going to do a couple of half hitches here. Again, with that super glue, it holds everything nice and tight. Flip it off. And then the last part is just the final trim. And the final trim, I want this fly to be about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. So about 1.5 inches. So I'm going to pull the material back. Again, just moisten your fingers, pull it back, because when you clip, you want to get right on the Zonker strip itself. Give it a clip, and that's it. That's the Sand Eelusion. That is one kick-ass fly that the stripers just can't seem to get enough of. Hope that helps you out.